Hey everybody, welcome back to Investing with Wesley. In my previous videos, I'm sure you've heard me say that I want to help you guys switch the way you think about money. And today, this video is going to be all about that. Today, the video is going to be about the mindset between poor and rich people and how you could go from a poor mindset to a rich mindset. Stick around. Now, first off, guys, if you think this video is going to be mostly about thinking positive thoughts and manifesting money out of nowhere so you can become rich, that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about today is the mindset that certain people have in regards to money and how they handle their issues. One of the biggest mindsets that the rich have over the poor and middle class is that they're satisfied with themselves and what they have. Now, for everyone else hearing that, they're probably like, yeah, they got yachts, mansions, I'd be satisfied too. But take Warren Buffett as an example, probably the best investor that has ever lived. He still lives in the same house he bought many years ago, even though his net worth has gone up dramatically. Same thing with his car. He's still driving the same car he had in the past, even though he can afford a much nicer one. When it comes to guys like Warren Buffett, who are satisfied in what would be the mediocre lifestyle, this is because he found his passion early on in life. He found his passion for investing in stocks and businesses as a teenager. So every decision he's made has been to lower costs of expenses so that he has more money to invest in businesses, because that's what turns him on. That's his passion and what makes him feel most fulfilled. I'm sure all of us know at least one person that has a minimum wage job or doesn't make hardly any money at all, but still finds a way to buy the newest things. The newest Jordans, the newest iPhone, the newest laptop, iPad, you name it. They always have the newest, best, and greatest things. And they probably do this because they enjoy the newest items as well and they're splurging their money. But the mindset they're in on splurging and buying things that they don't need, that is not a rich mentality. The rich buy what they need when they need it, but don't worry about having the newest and best things. You hear all the time that self-made millionaires and self-made billionaires hardly ever buy new cars until they make it to the top 1% of society. Most of the time, they even buy used cars. That way they save money on depreciation. The biggest difference between the rich and the poor isn't an issue of money. It's an issue of spending, especially if you live here in America. You're probably thinking to yourself, that can't be. I make hardly any money. How can I possibly join the 1%? Well, if you watched my previous video on compounding interest, link up above, you'll understand how a little money now can turn into a lot of money later. Let me tell you a story about a janitor that used to work for Coca-Cola. I think it was 2001 or 2002. A man started work as a night janitor for the Coca-Cola company. And every week when he would get paid, 20% of his paycheck would go into investing in the same stock of the company that he worked for. So every week he was putting 20% of his check inside the Coca-Cola company's stock. And he consistently did this. Now on average, janitors only make about $25,000 a year. So he wasn't investing a lot of money, but he was also spending a lot of money, considering $25,000 a year is very hard to live off of. He was working extra long hours to make even more money on his paycheck so that he could put even more money back into the company's stock. Now, after 18 years of investing consistently, 20% of his check every week, he was able to send both of his kids to college and retire early with a net worth of almost $5 million. Now, when asked, he said that he could have probably retired comfortably and lived pretty well for himself at his 12th or 15th year, but he enjoyed the people he worked with and loved what he did, so he stayed until his 18th year. Just think about that. 18 years of making $25,000 a year. They never struggled to pay for the roof over the head, to pay their utilities, or to put food on the table. But they didn't have much of a social or fun life. They never went to amusement parks or went to the movies or went out to eat. It's because the money just wasn't there. Instead of spending that 20% on the fun things to do, the janitor decided to invest it in the company that he worked for. Because of that, he's now 43 years old, retired with a net worth of $5 million, and can provide his family with pretty much whatever he wants. All because he sacrificed those initial 18 years and consistently invested even when the market was scary. That story is a perfect example on why I say it's not a matter of money, it's a matter of spending. The janitor was investing into the company that he started with. Meanwhile, there's others out there with a completely different mindset. They would rather spend $100 on a weekend going to the bar with their friends or going to a concert than investing for their future success. Now, the millennial generation, my generation, we are the worst ones at this. On average, the millennial generation spends over $200 a month on Starbucks alone. The average yearly is about $3,000 a year just on Starbucks. Then when you factor in how much we go out to eat, how much we go to the movies and buy unnecessary things like new phones, new shoes, and the latest subscription service, over 35% of all millennial money goes to wasted items like these things. Now, the millennial generation is also the generation in the most debt, and that's mainly due to student loan debt. So just think about what we could do as a generation if we used that 35% to pay off our debts, or rather invest that money for the future. Now I get it that most of us are probably in a rut and can't seem to invest or get out of debt because you're already living paycheck to paycheck. This is why it's so important to change your mindset on how you look at money and how you spend it. I know one of the big things that helped me change my mindset when it came to spending was learning how those companies make their profits. As an example, if you go to Starbucks and get a coffee or a Frappuccino or whatever your favorite drink is, on average, it only costs the company about 40 cents to make. So when you're spending $5 or more on a coffee that costs the company 40 cents to make, you're throwing away your money because you could be making the same coffee and saving yourself a lot of money. Or take going out to eat for an example. On average, whatever meal you buy, whether it's at a fast food place or a restaurant, is priced 3 times higher than it costs to make. And the reason they do this is because it breaks it up into thirds. The first third goes to covering the ingredients. The second third goes to the labor force behind it and making that meal. And the third is the profit. So if you bought the same ingredients from the store and decided to make it yourself, you get the same meal and you're also saving money because it's costing you a lot cheaper because you don't have to pay for someone's labor or for the profit margin. All you have to do is pay for the ingredients. Now lastly guys, I just want to say that I'm not an idiot and sometimes it does come down to money. You could be making your own food, making your own coffee, not spending a dime like the janitor was, and still living paycheck to paycheck, in which case all I have to say is that there are plenty of resources online that are for free that can help you develop the skills necessary to either starting a business to make as much money as you want to make or get a better paying job so that you can actually break free from this cycle that you're in. But once you get a better job, you start making better money and you pay down your debts, or you decide to skip paying down your debts and focus more on investing. Whatever you decide to do, when it comes to spending, make sure whatever spending you're doing is as tax advantaged as possible. There's a saying out there that the poor can't afford anything, the middle class own everything, and the rich don't own anything. Now, I think we both agree that the rich own a lot of things, but what they mean by this is from a tax standpoint. The rich have LLCs, S Corps, C Corps, and other business entities that they use to take advantage of the tax code here in America. The middle class don't do that. They just buy everything in their own names. Therefore, they're liable and open themselves up to a lot of tax risk. Now, don't worry. In the future, I'll be making a 5-part video on how people are taxed and businesses are taxed and how you yourself can put everything you own into different entities to be as tax advantaged as possible. Guys, I know the millennial generation wants to do amazing things, but in order to change the world, you have to change your mentality. We have to stop playing the victim and have extreme ownership with our finances. Because once we can break this debt cycle and I can change the way you think about spending money and how to invest properly, then and only then will we be truly set up to change the world. Until my next video, guys, have a good one. Hey everybody, I just want to say thank you for making it all the way to the end of the video. If you got value from this video today, please like and subscribe because it really helps the algorithm in helping my channel grow. And if you want to take your personal finances to the next level, stay tuned because these videos talk all about that.